Imagine you're at the edge of a cliff. Below you, the ground seems miles away. A cold wind whips around you. You can feel its bite through your clothes. The air in your lungs suddenly feels thin, hard to breathe. And you look up, but the sky is covered in clouds, blocking the sun. You can't see a way out. And you think, how do I climb down? How do I escape this? But you're standing on the edge of your potential. You're on the edge of your life. And most of us spend our days clinging tightly to the side, scared to step out into the unknown. We don't dare take that leap of faith. And so we remain stuck, scared of falling. But what if the ground beneath your feet wasn't real? What if the fear that kept you holding on wasn't yours? What if it belonged to someone else? Like your parents, your teachers, your peers. Maybe you grew up hearing phrases like these. Be careful. Don't do that. You'll hurt yourself. Why do you want to try? You won't succeed. And you listened. You believed those warnings. You didn't want to hurt yourself, so you stopped before you started. You didn't want to fail, so you didn't try. And that's okay. You weren't born with a guidebook. You were thrown into life to figure it out as you go. But now you find yourself older, wiser, and still scared. But why? What changed? We all grow up listening to others, taking in their beliefs like water. It's easier that way. You don't have to think, you just adapt. You don't have to question, you just follow. And we absorb these messages like sponges, especially the scary ones. You can't do this, you're not enough, you'll get hurt. But who said that? Who decides what's safe and what's too risky? And more importantly, why should you listen? Maybe it's time to stop absorbing other people's fears. Take control of your life, don't just exist. Start living, but what stops you? What keeps you on the edge of the cliff, holding on tight? Well, one big one is doubt. Doubt looks like a tiny seed, but it grows into a thick wall between you and your dreams. Doubt whispers, you're not ready. It's too late for you. You don't have a chance. But here's the secret, no one is ever ready. Not completely. You're always going to be a work in progress. There will always be more to learn, more to prepare. Otherwise, life would be boring, wouldn't it? But here's the catch. Waiting for the perfect moment is like waiting for the bus that never comes. The truth is, if you wait for the right time, the safe choice, the perfect preparation, you'll be waiting forever. And that's the biggest risk of all, settling for less than your dreams. If you keep playing small, if you avoid the leap of faith, you'll wonder someday, what if? And that's a much lonelier place to be than jumping and hoping you'll catch the wind. Sure, you might fall. You might not land exactly where you wanted, but that's part of the journey. Falling is how we learn to fly. It's how we discover the strength in our wings. You are stronger than you think, more capable than you know. And here's the ultimate truth. You will never be ready. If you wait for life to be less risky, less scary, less painful, you'll miss out on everything life has to teach you. We all have the choice to embrace the unknown. You could ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And what's the best? And often the worst isn't as bad as we imagine. And the best, well, that's priceless. You have to jump. You have to dive into the deep end of life. Don't just go for gold. Aim for platinum. Dare to dream bigger than you think possible. I'm telling you, you'll land on your feet. Trust me on that. And I know this may sound like a fairy tale, but life rewards the brave. If you play small, you'll live small. But if you aim for the stars, if you show up and try, you might just reach them. You might touch them at least. And that, my friend, is the kind of magic that makes life worth living. So many of us walk through life carrying invisible burdens. These burdens aren't physical objects. They're feelings, thoughts, and stories that weigh us down. They eat away at our peace, our joy, our energy. We carry grudges against people who wronged us, hurts from childhood, worries about the future. We hold on to regrets like old photographs, even though they only remind us of what we lost. You know the feeling, right? It's like having a backpack filled with stones. At first, it's manageable, but as you walk, the weight starts to drag you down. You stoop over, you get tired. You lose sight of where you're going. These emotional stones, they steal your smile, your laughter, your energy. They replace your hope with fear and your dreams with doubts. You start to believe that happiness is a distant memory, a luxury you can't afford. But I'm here to tell you something different. You have the power to release that backpack. Yes, you heard me right. You have the strength to let go. It's not easy, I know. Releasing these burdens feels like letting go of a part of yourself. Like, how can you let go of a pain you've carried for so long? But here's the truth. By holding on to these weights, you're not punishing the person who hurt you. You're hurting yourself. You're the one who loses sleep, who wakes up tense, who avoids the mirror. But here's the secret. Releasing those stones doesn't mean forgetting. It means healing. It means choosing to move forward with your head held high. Letting go isn't about condoning what happened to you. It's about recognizing that you're stronger than the pain. You're more resilient than the hurt. Forgiving doesn't erase the past. It adds meaning to it. You can acknowledge the pain, understand its roots, and choose to heal. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It hurts at first, but then the healing begins. And guess what? That's when your true strength shines through. You become wiser, more compassionate, and kinder. You turn the pain into power. So how do you start this journey? How do you release the stones that are holding you back? First, you need to identify them. Recognize the negative thoughts, the resentments, the worries that are cluttering your mind. Sit with them. Feel them, understand where they come from. Then make a conscious decision to let them go. It's like throwing each stone into a river, watching it disappear into the water. As you release each burden, you'll feel lighter, freer. The sun will shine a little brighter. The colors will seem more vibrant. You'll start to believe in yourself again. You'll rediscover your passion, your joy, your laughter. Your backpack will be filled with memories, not burdens, with stories, not scars. This isn't about being naive, it's about being strong. It's about refusing to let your past define your present or your future. Last few weeks were crazy, but I'm glad to be back. Now let's jump into it. Today we're going to talk about weakness. Let's define our terms first. I'm not talking about physical weakness or strength. I'm talking about how we often feel weak in the face of our emotions, our experiences, our situations. We feel overwhelmed. We feel helpless, like there's nothing we can do to change anything. And honestly, that's the feeling that got me thinking about making this video. I felt like I was letting you guys down. I felt like I was letting myself down. I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't doing enough. And I thought, if I'm feeling this way, then chances are some of you might be feeling it too. And I wanted to make a video on it. I wanted to address it, sort of normalize it, and hopefully help you guys realize that you're not alone. So let's talk about these feelings of weakness and helplessness and why they happen. Fear, stress, anxiety, it feels like a storm inside your chest. Your hands shake, your mind races. Your breath shortens and all you can think is, I can't handle it. But what if I told you you're stronger than you think? When we feel weak, it's usually because of one of three main reasons: fear, stress, or anxiety. Today we'll tackle those one by one. First, let's start with fear. Fear is a primal emotion, a survival instinct. It alerts us to danger, whether it's a saber-toothed tiger or a speeding car. Fear tells us when something feels too big, too risky, too overwhelming. But in today's world, fear doesn't always come from real danger. It comes from the what-ifs. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I'm not enough? These what-ifs trick us into feeling weak. They bring up this image of ourselves cowering in the corner, paralyzed by the what-ifs, unable to take any action. But here's the truth. Fear shows up before new beginnings. Think about it. Before you started school, before you asked someone out, before you took that first step towards a dream, what was the first thing that showed up? Fear. Fear is a visitor. It shows up at uncomfortable moments, at the edge of our comfort zone. It screams, it shouts, it tries to convince us to turn back, to play it safe. But fear doesn't always come from real danger. Most of the time, it's just a whisper in our ear telling us stories of what could go wrong. But guess what? Those are just stories. Fear doesn't tell us the whole story. It paints a picture of us cowering in a corner, but that's not our only picture. Now let's look at stress. Stress is the pressure we carry when life doesn't slow down. It's the weight of deadlines, expectations, responsibilities. Sometimes it feels like the world is asking too much from you. You're juggling a million things at once. Work, relationships, finances, health, and it all starts to feel like too much. The dishes pile up, the laundry waits, the inbox overflows. And in the middle of it all, you're trying to stay afloat. That's stress, and it's not a sign of weakness. It means you care. It means you're trying. Maybe it's time to ask for help, delegate tasks, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that it's okay not to be okay, but it's never okay to give up on yourself. Next up, anxiety. Anxiety is a whisper that grows louder when you try to ignore it. It asks, what if it all goes wrong? And it answers itself with fear. What if I mess up? What if I'm not enough? What if everything falls apart? Anxiety likes to keep us guessing. It makes us feel like we're walking on eggshells, afraid to break them and set off an explosion. You try to stay calm. You try to stay normal, but inside it's chaos. A constant hum of what ifs and what coulds, but anxiety is not your identity. It's an experience, not a life sentence. Yes, you can have bad days, moments when it feels like you're drowning in anxiety. But remember, you've made it through tough times before. You've weathered storms before, and you can do it again. So how do we deal with these feelings of weakness? How do we navigate through the storms of fear, stress, and anxiety? It's not about being strong all the time, it's about being human. And being human means you're allowed to not be okay. It means sometimes you feel weak, sometimes you stumble, sometimes you fall. But it also means you get to rise again, brush yourself off, learn from the fall, and keep going. Here are my thoughts to help you through. No. 1. Face your fear. Don't let it control you. There comes a moment when you stop running, when you stop hiding from the fear, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm scared, but I'm here. I'm breathing and I will face it. It's not about being fearless, it's about being present. Strength isn't loud. It's not always bold. Sometimes strength is simply showing up. Saying, I'm not okay, but I won't give up. No. 2. Find support. You don't have to fight this alone. Reach out to someone you trust. Talk about your feelings. Writing can also be a great way to express and process your emotions. It can be a safe space where you can let it all out without judgment. No. 3. Take care of yourself. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step away for a moment. Take a walk, listen to music, practice deep breathing or meditation. Reconnect with yourself and find that inner strength within you. And finally, 4. Celebrate the small wins. Every little step you take is a victory. Finish one task, check it off your list. Give yourself a mental high five. Hug a friend, journal your thoughts. Take a deep breath, stretch, dance in the rain. These are all small moments that remind you that you're in control. Remember, you are not weak for struggling. You are human. And being human is messy. It's hard, but it's also beautiful. You're not defined by your struggles. You're defined by how you choose to respond to them. We've all been there, staring at a blank page, unsure of what to write, feeling that all-consuming dread of writer's block. I've been there countless times. And I've realized that it's not just about finding the right words. It's about finding the right tool to help you unlock your creativity and express yourself authentically. Now let's wrap this up. Feel free to pause and reflect on what I've shared. Allow these words to resonate within you. Remember, you are stronger than you think. You are not weak. You are human, and that in itself is a superpower. You've made it to this point in the video, so I'm going to take that as a yes. Do you want to see more videos like this? If you're interested, please hit the like button. This is me saying thanks for staying till the end. Stick around for the next video. Thanks for watching.